when I was playing for the Montclair Eagles football team. And you know it was a long time ago because they had a weight limit of 115 pounds.
Jack Crowell couldn't play.
Rudy Ford back there. I know Stevie Devin was here. Gene Barkham was on that team. Skippy was on the team and everything. So we were all under 115 pounds and under the guidance of Claude Jackson. And we might as well have been under the guidance of Vince Lombardi. Claude was a taskmaster, and he taught us discipline, and we had it going. Now, when I first met Bruce, it was pretty good for Bruce, but it wasn't necessarily that good for me, because our relationship we were friends, and I have to tell you, it was like the ending of Casablanca, where Rick and the other guy are walking on the tarmac there, and Louis. And they said, well, this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship. Well, it was beautiful for Bruce from the beginning and became beautiful for me later on, because I was from Central Avenue in the Hollow, and Bruce, of course, was from the Glenfield area, and he Wheeler, whatever it was, he accused me of being uptown. So he and Bill Swan, who was another guard at the time and grown up, I was on the line, so they made it a point of kicking my butt every day in practice at Nishiwayne Park. So it became beautiful for me later on, but initially it wasn't really to my advantage. Now, Colman asked me to say something amusing about Bruce, and there is one story I want to tell you about. And there's a moral at the end of this story. But for those of us who were in the high school at the time, we all know Bruce was number 69, played on the great Montclair team of 1964, and that was undefeated and ranked. Dave Johnson's here from that team. But Bruce also was the heavyweight wrestler for Montclair. Now, being honest about it, when you're playing guard, you're playing tackle, or wherever position you're playing in football, a lot of times you can hide. So if you foul up, nobody knows. And everything. Wrestling, you're out there one-on-one. If you mess up, everybody knows. So we didn't usually go to the wrestling matches, but this particular day, Montclair was wrestling against Madison. And Madison had this fellow, Pete Gilligan, and he was like Goliath. And he pinned everybody that he wrestled against, and was actually voted the top athlete in Morris County history, because he was a first-team All-State football player also. So the whole school turned out to see this wrestling match. And lo and behold, what happened? We get down to it, and Montclair and Madison ranked 1 and 2 in the state. And the last match was a heavyweight match, and Montclair was winning. And if Bruce does not get pinned, Montclair will win the match. If Bruce gets pinned, we lose, and we lose the number one ranking. Now, most of the people, they didn't last 2 minutes with Pete Gilligan. He just walk out, pick him up, throw him down. He's like Bruno Sammartino. So, at any rate, the crowd is yelling, brute force, brute force, brute force. And Bruce goes out there against him, and we were holding our breath, wishing that clock would just hurry up and keep clicking and everything. So, to make a long story short, Pete Gilligan racked up a lot of points. But every time Bruce looked like he was going to get pinned, he somehow escaped. So he lost the match, something like 12 or 13 to nothing. 14 to 1 14 to 1. Lost 14 to 1. All I can tell you is I've never seen anybody lose a match 14 to 1 and be a school hero. Hey everybody, we went to school next day and everybody's walking down the hall. Bruce got this big smile on his face and everybody telling Brucey what a great job he did. So the moral of the story is you don't always have to win to be the hero. Bruce was like he delivered the Super Bowl And there's more significant meaning to it too, because if you knew him on it, Bruce was a team player. And so he went out there, and for his team, he refused to get picked. And he went up against great odds. It was a David and Goliath type of story and everything, but he delivered. And one thing about him, he was an absolute team player. Now, whether or not it was in football, his family just stood up. And we know how strongly he felt about his family and how he loved them all. And he built that team so that that team now is able to continue on and flourish without him. Everything. So he was team not only in sports, but team in family. And as we just see with the scholarships that have been given out here, he was also a team player with regard to the community. As Carmen said, he stayed in Montclair, and if you want to know anything that was happening in Montclair, and if you know that you want to be on the right side of the issues, just call Bruce Taylor. So I'm extremely happy that he was my friend. I'm glad that after a rocky start, I got on even ground with him, and we remained friends for years, and like the rest of you, I loved it.